Hey everybody, and welcome to day 3 of the 2025 Eric's Trains Christmas Bonanza. 8 videos in 8 days, starting on Christmas Day and ending on New Year's Day. So for day 3, I've got sort of a mystery box from Weaver Models, and it's also sort of a missing link that connects Weaver Models to a brand new model that just came out from Atlas not too long ago, and it's coming up right now on Eric's Trains. Well, hey everybody, I've got an unexpected surprise for you today. It's an unexpected surprise for me as well. I've got a Weaver Models steam locomotive from about 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. And this is a Weaver 280 steam locomotive. Now, why did I get this? Well, I actually got this to be part of another video, so you'll be seeing this again when I review the brand new Atlas 280 steam locomotive. That locomotive that Atlas just brought out was made using the old Weaver tooling. So in theory, this should look pretty much identical to the new Atlas model. And I was kind of curious and wanted to do a comparison. And I thought, well, if I can get one of the old Weaver 280s for a good price, maybe I'll do that. And that's exactly what I was able to do. So this is the reason it was a good price is it's an undecorated version of the 280. Yeah, Weaver did that. They would do undecorated versions of all their engines just in case you wanted to do the decorating yourself, you know, with your own road name or customization or something like that. So if we look at the tag here, it's a Baldwin 280 consolidation, die-cast steam engine and tender, quarter scale, detail, and dimensions. That means it's O-scale. Limited edition, detailed backhead, puffing smoke unit, die-cast body construction with brass detail parts. That's really important. I'll get back to that in a moment. Operational on 031 curve, so it's friendly to layouts with tight curves. Detailed interior with engineer and fireman. Sprung drivers. You don't see that very often these days. I don't think Lionel does sprung drivers. I don't think MTH does either. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rubber traction tires, multiple cab numbers, well, not on the undecorated version. Precision DC can motor, flywheel, coasting drive. Operating marker lights and illuminated headlight, backup light, and number boards. And then it has all the text about rail sounds and TMCC. So this should have TMCC and rail sounds on board, which is one of the reasons why I got it. I don't have much use for a conventionally powered locomotive, not without upgrading it with Blue Nami or something like that. And then Weaver Models, Northumberland, Pennsylvania. Man, I miss those guys. Weaver Models was so great. I loved everything they made, and the people there were just the greatest. They were so nice. Anyway, so I got this at Trains for about $300. The original price when this was made back in 2002, 2003, with TMCC, it would have cost you $595. So I think I got a pretty good deal on it. Anyway, let's open this up. And from the description, this should be in like new condition. I don't think it's mint. I think it has been run before, but it was listed as C8 like new condition. So here we've got the original instructions from Weaver. 1-year warranty registration. Probably won't work now. And a note from Weaver. Important, read immediately. Damage procedure instructions. Yeah, Weaver always put these in their boxes just to let you know, hey, if there's any damage, this is what you do to get it taken care of. They had great customer service. They were so awesome. And because they were so amazing, that's why it makes me so happy when Atlas and Lionel bring back old Weaver stuff. When Weaver went out of business, Atlas bought their overseas tooling and Lionel bought all of their American tooling. So for Lionel, that became their line scale stuff. That's nice O-scale stuff, but a little less expensive than their premium stuff. And then with Atlas, they got a lot of their overseas tooling with their freight cars and some passenger cars and their troop kitchen car, all that cool stuff. And apparently they got a tooling for one of their engines. Okay, so here we've got the tool for the drivers, little Allen wrench, a little container of lube, or is that smoke fluid? That's cool. It's a little vial of smoke fluid, still unused. It's interesting, this same tool comes with the Atlas model that they just made. Comes with the same tool and the same spare tires. I have a feeling Atlas changed as little as possible. So let's pull this out. Oh yeah. It's got a little dust on it. I'm going to blast that off real quick. It does have a road number. I wonder if this is undecorated after all, because it's got a road number. We'll see what the tender says. On the eBay listing, it had LNN on the tender, but the description said undecorated, so I figured maybe Trains was using another image they had of another 280, but maybe this is LNN. That would be great if it was decorated for the LNN. And to my eyes, this looks very similar to the Atlas model. I don't think they changed very much at all. They probably changed as little as they had to. That's just smart business. There's a little piece broken off there. One of the marker lights. I wonder if that's down in there. I might have to fix that. It looks great. It's got little warning placards there. Looks really nice. Let's check out the tender. Oh yeah, L&N. Look at that. So it does have a road name on it. Now I wonder if it came like this, because it says undecorated on the box. I wonder if it came like that, or if the previous owner did this to it. Got some really cool signage back there. I'm not sure if you can read that. That looks great. I'm going to have to look up in the old Weaver catalog listings and see if they did this in L&N. If they didn't, then what we have here is a custom job that somebody did on this. That's even better. Yeah, that underside of the tender looks exactly like the Atlas model. The coal looks a little bit different. I think they changed that, but looks very similar. I'm going to clean this up. It's got some dust and some fingerprints on it. But all in all, it's in good shape. Ah, there it is. Okay, there's that classification light. Whew, I'm glad I found that. Okay, that should be fairly easy to reattach with some epoxy, so I'm not worried about that. Now, I mentioned that the die-cast metal construction was important. That's because it being made of die-cast metal, I'm almost positive, is what allowed Atlas to remake this in the modern age. A lot of what Weaver made, a lot of their old engines that everyone wants Atlas to bring back, they can't bring back because they were made with brass and lost wax castings, which means there wasn't really any tooling around, and bringing those back would be very difficult. Whereas with a die-cast metal model, you do have tooling, and that means it can be remade once again. So yeah, I'm almost certain that the very reason we're seeing this now from Atlas is because it was a die-cast model, which was rare for Weaver. They didn't do a lot of die-cast metal engines. Most of them were brass with lost wax castings, which again makes them very difficult to bring back. But thank God they did this one in die-cast, and Atlas was able to bring it back from the dead. All right, so I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to reattach that classification light, and then we'll get this on the layout. Okay, I've got it all nice and cleaned up. I was able to reattach that classification light with some epoxy, so that's all good to go. And after testing this thing out on the rails and also opening it up to take a look at what's inside, I was able to make some determinations to try to make this a little less confusing. So first of all, I think it was just in the wrong box. The box said it was undecorated. It's not. I believe this was painted at the factory because I looked at some of Weaver's records. The records from Weaver are not exactly precise, but I was able to determine that they did do an L&N 280 at some point, and they did do one that was numbered 1345. So I don't think this is a custom job. I think it was like this from the factory. The other thing I'm pretty sure of is that this is not from 2002 or 2003. That's the years I have some good documentation for, but I think this was made at a later date. Specifically, I think this was made toward the end of Weaver being in business, so probably around 2014, 2015. It might have been one of the last things they made. And the reason I think that is because when I powered it up, the rail sound effects were much more current, especially the crew talk sounds, and the electronics inside the tender are much more current than 2002. So yeah, I think this was made in the later days of Weaver, which is a good thing because the electronics are more current, and I think it actually probably sounds better than the model from 2002 did. So that's my best guess about where and when this came from. Again, it's kind of hard because there's not a lot of super detailed records about Weaver. There are some old catalogs I can refer to, and I've got a spreadsheet of stuff they made back in the day, but it's not complete, and it doesn't encompass everything they ever did, especially toward the end. And that's the time frame I think this came from. Now, I will say, and you'll see it in a minute when I start this thing up, it's not the most smooth runner in the world. I mean, the chuffing and the smoke are not in time. At low speeds, it's not the smoothest runner, but that's typical for these older Weaver TMCC controlled engines. They weren't quite as smooth as stuff that Lionel would make. But once it gets up to speed and gets running, it's actually pretty good. Now, at some point, I will probably upgrade this to Blue Nami just to get the best operation out of it I can and the best sound effects. So that'll come at some point in the future. But for right now, it runs pretty good and it actually sounds pretty good. And I'm really glad I got this because it kind of gives me the original that the new Atlas 280 is based on. Now, if we do a side-by-side comparison between the Atlas model and the Weaver model, you can see they are pretty much identical. Atlas changed very little. Like I said in the unboxing, I think they changed the coal load a little bit. They added a more detailed whistle and a nicer bell. And they also added a really nice drop plate between the locomotive and the tender. But other than that, they changed very little. Obviously, they replaced all the incandescent bulbs with LEDs. They put a fan-driven smoke unit in there to replace that piston drive unit. And of course, they put PS3 in there instead of TMCC and rail sounds. So they did a good job of bringing it up to date. But, you know, Atlas did the smart thing. They changed as little as they needed to. And they really didn't need to change a lot because it's a beautiful model the way it is. And it doesn't really need to be changed at all except for what's on the inside. Now, that being said, the one thing I wish Atlas had changed was that on the original Weaver model here, there are no pickup rollers on the trucks of the tender. All the power is taken from the pickup rollers on the locomotive. And I wish Atlas had improved that and put a pickup roller or two on the tender, because I've noticed on the Atlas model at least, if you go over some dirty track or through a couple back-to-back switches, every now and then the engine will conk out because it doesn't have enough pickup rollers on that center rail. And so I think Atlas could have greatly improved this by adding pickup rollers on their version. I did let Atlas know that, and they're aware of that, and they probably will do it the next time they release the 280. But to Atlas's credit, it's not something they forgot to do. It's just something that was on the original, and they carried it forward to the new model. And actually on my Atlas 280s, I'm in the process of figuring out how to add a pickup roller to one of the trucks on the tender, because I think that'll make it run a lot smoother. That's something I might do a video on at some point in the future, and it's kind of off topic from this video, but yeah, it's pretty cool that Atlas took this Weaver model, they brought it back from the dead. It's a beautiful model the way it is. They really didn't have to change it at all, and for the most part they didn't. They just brought it up to date in terms of the electronics and the lighting and everything, and let the beauty of the model speak for itself. So like I said, I will do a separate video on the Atlas 280 at some point in the near future. I've got two of them, so I really do want to do a video on it. But for right now, that's going to do it for day 3 of the 2025 Eric's Trains Christmas Bonanza. I'm going to end this video by taking this 280 for a spin around the layout. That'll do it. I'm Eric Siegel. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 4.
How's that track look? Are we clear? Over. Affirmative. The track is yours. Over. Roger that. All clear. Out.
discuss this model or any other O-gauge model, or just to talk trains in general, check out the OGR online forum at ogrforum.com.